I've arrived at Jason's house and now it's time for brunch. It's a damp, rainy Christmas Eve. And here we are. What I call my best mate Smifter. We're here. Merry Christmas! Who is it?
He's going to see you. Well, we'll go watch the beans.
Beans. The beans.
A couple of baps. So makes it brekkie baps.
We're having brekkie baps.
Bacon, eggs, beans, and mushrooms.
So, we're at the Smith's house.
Chef Smith.
This is going to be a laugh a minute.
Announce what that band is yet.
Oh, who won the 50 quid this morning?
So more about that in a bit, but
Oh, I don't know. I think he's still doing it now, I think.
I hope you're
They,
so yeah, he really enjoys that. It's completely sealed. It's never been touched.
You said,
it's authentically signed Taylor Swift Red L.
They had to guess the number one played record.
As always, though,
Most
just quickly,
before Christmas. Nobody got it. Nobody got first, nobody got second, nobody got third. Was anybody listening to the radio?
Who's your winners there? Right, I've got some serious questions. Right, the Philippines, I understand, obviously, beautiful place during nice weather, culture. But question number one for you: why are you going?
Having been there, I went there in 2016, and with that feeling still inside me, the last 2 years, as I come towards the end of my working life, it's been a decision on what I'm going to do if and when I retire. So anyway, that was the decision that was made, and then of course COVID hit, and that rather put things on the back burner, although it's a huge amount of logistics and paperwork to be able to go and live in the Philippines anyway. So the decision was made then, and the reason for going is not so as I can live, as we said before, not so as I can go and live as an expat, living in an expat community with all the trappings that go with the 21st century. My plan, or it's more than a plan now, is to go and live in rural Philippines and live as a Filipino in a Filipino community, adapt their culture and live life and do what I can to help in any way that I can, basically. And people have said to me since last week, are you still going? And why are you still going after Odette smashed through the Philippines? And I said, I need to go even more now. I wish I was out there right now to be able to just lend a hand. I can turn my hands to most things in terms of, do it yourself and general stuff. And I know they need help. And the fact that they won't have power now some of these places won't have power for 6 months. And, the water services and everything else and phone services and that may take a couple of months to get up and running again, but it's stark. It's absolutely stark. But
I mean, for me, obviously I've been to Africa, been to remote parts of, I guess, almost desolation where children have no classroom tables, chairs, they just sit on the floor, sandy floors, no windows, tin roofs. It's their skills that make them survive, almost.
Yeah.
That's their survival tools, tools to them, and skills are the most important aspect after running water and obviously food. But it's kind of like, for me, I guess for everyone to a degree, it's hard to understand why someone can do something well, it is life changing. Obviously for you, it will be life changing. It will be life changing for me because we go way back. Over a decade now.
We do.
And to suddenly sort of be dropped the bombshell that your friends go in and you kind of the only time you're ever going to see them again is on a screen. It's kind of so I will.
Are you actually saying that we're never going to meet again?
I certainly hope we will. Gosh, I mean,
you don't need to hope. It's a definite yes.
You know me. I love a challenge, and it would be a challenge for me to make a good plan ahead to make sure that I come out to visit and to see what your new life is going to unfold for you and how you've settled in. And
Jason would be cycling across Europe to get there.
But yeah, it's kind of, I know the internet and Zoom and video calls and stuff makes life much easier now. Like you say, you can chat to someone. Our neighbours moved to Australia, and you can quite easily keep in contact, apart from the time difference and stuff. And I guess the hardest thing is for those that are left behind. Not like when someone passes away and you can never speak to them ever again. That's even tougher still. But to actually lose someone and to not have them in your life. Like the things that we've done in the past, the adventures, the backpacking, the camping, the cycling, breakfasts we share. It's it's and the football and the chat, the weekly chat. I mean, I hope your new life in the Philippines will sort of blend in with your past, which is now, and between the two, we'll still do the things to a degree, obviously not physically, but chat and discuss and
absolutely.
And
Mentally we'll be as tight as we ever were. Even with Zoom and everything else, it's very clear, it's very accurate, but you still don't get that personal bonding. Definitely.
In terms of you can't understand the body motions and stuff. When you conference calls and stuff, you can't see what that feel is. So this would be mine, knowing that you're going. But I'm super excited for you, and I am I love my adventures and planning and stuff and challenges, and this will be the greatest challenge of your life because I've seen. I mean, the country and where you're going itself, the Philippines, beautiful place, like I said, beautiful beaches, beautiful people, the culture. However, there are, and obviously from the storm last week, it was, I think, I'm never going to forget the moment. I'm stood in the kitchen and you send the photos through, and I saw the storm. As you know, I love my meteorology and the weather and stuff. A Category 5. Anyone who's ever experienced a tornado, a proper hurricane or a Category 5 typhoon is something that they take to their grave because it's a life-changing moment. And seeing the photos come through, and it's your village that you're going to be going to, the village is it's not even a village anymore. It looks like a scrapyard.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, and yet you see the people, the Filipinos, they're smiling, they're still so, like you say, positive, they're and you can see them all helping one another, which is, it's amazing to see that, but for me to know that you're going out there to that is quite, it's hard to accept really, because number one, it's like Kirsty and Rob and the kids and that and myself and all your other friends and family will worry because wondering what's happening like that, worrying about it. I guess that's my second question is, how will we be able to get hold of you if we can't get hold of you? How can we get messages across to you and stuff like that?
Well, the devastation out there is horrendous. It is. They've never had a Category 5 typhoon do so much damage, because normally when it comes in from the Pacific or the South China Seas, but the typhoon only went through the central part of the Philippines. places like Manila or north of Manila never even knew there was a typhoon going on, I don't think. But it didn't veer off to the north, it went straight through it. The damage it caused was incredible. I was watching on YouTube some of the vloggers that I follow, and it is their resolve and their nature is to be admired. The one guy, a Polish guy who's married to a Philippine girl, they were about 2 hours from it hitting, so they knew it was coming. About 2 hours from it hitting, and it was very windy. It was very scary, and the guy was not scared but very anxious about it. And the girl said, "Look, it's coming. No negativity, just positive stuff. We've got to be positive," and that's the whole thing. And in the aftermath of that, they were going and videoing, and he spoke to one lady who was stood beside what was her house, but it's not there anymore, and she was engaging in conversation and laughing and being quite happy and jolly with her family. And the guy said, "You've lost everything." She said, "I thank God that I'm still alive. The rest of it we'll deal with." And that's everybody to a person over there. So why would I? It's not a case of whether I still want to go. I want to go even more now, because there's so much that you can do. And as I said, I'm not going over there to live in an expat community in a high condo with a swimming pool. I'm going to live like a village rural Filipino in that environment, and it will be flip-flops and shorts and t-shirts and a tin roof, and maybe the house is made of wood, and you grow vegetables and stuff like that. But if I'm going to go out there and immerse myself in it, I've got to do that and not have anything surrounding me as a guard, if you like. And that's where you come in. But in terms of getting hold of me, everything will be put into place. I'm not going to go out there and say, "Bye, I'll let you know how I'm doing." There'll be things put in place that if I need to get hold of you and I've got no signal or anything, I've got friends in other places in the Philippines, and I'll let everybody will know about that before I go. But I do understand that people worry, and I understand that my family and my friends worry. But you know what it's like. The worry is heartwarming, but it's not enough to stop me going. It's like,
right, get the banners out, everyone. Come on, go.
Hooray, he's going!
No, the protest I'm on about. He can go. He can go.
But it's like, I was with you all the way up to and including you going to do the Transcon. I mean, that was an immense worry for me, because I love you and you're my best friend, but the dangers involved in you cycling across 18 countries or whatever it was through war-torn places, is a huge worry. But it wasn't enough that Sarah worried, I worried, and your friends, your family, and your mum, dad, everybody else worried, because it was something that you had to do.
But cycling a bike is a bit...
It's a bit different.
It's not... Cycling a bike through a country is slightly different to selling up, moving your whole life. The village itself,
where I would be living,
very limited supply of water, electricity, communications.
Season, because sometimes it'll rain for 3 or 4 days and it won't stop, and it'll just be coming down like steroids. Cats and dogs, cars and dogs. It'll be coming down. But my point is that they live like that. So if I wanted to go to the Philippines and live like I do here, then what's the point in going? Blah, blah. But it's never been my thought to go there and do anything other than live like them and live with them. Even when we were over there doing the mission trip, Easter 2016, we had our own bedrooms, but it wasn't hotels. This typhoon has been through now. It's going to be years years before it gets back to how it was before. And people were living in very, very basic homes that they constructed themselves out of bamboo. And they will go back to constructing their homes with bamboo and living in that environment. And I cannot wait.
Yeah,
Cannot wait, mate.
I know you're going to make a massive change out there.
Well,
not like physicality wise, but like the infrastructure of how they live anyway. But through the message that you're going to be sending out from recordings, radio station. I think that you should do a dedicated show weekly on life in the Philippines.
Yeah,
because
I think that's a good idea.
For the future, people who want to emigrate out there and people who want to make a change to the world, because when I was in Africa, we went over to climb Kilimanjaro, and literally we stayed in a place called Moshi, and as I said, the school it wasn't really a school, it was just a tin hut and stuff. But when we came away, I wish so much more. I wish I could do so much more whilst we were there. And we did do things when we came back, sending clothes, pencils, pens, footballs, entertainment stuff to the school, so we could try and make a difference. I think you'll probably have one thing that you'll remember the most when you went to Manila, near to Manila with the waste tip. That probably was the iconic moment for you, is seeing the children.
I can tell you what the iconic moment was. It wasn't that.
What was it?
It was the very first day, the very first full day we'd been there, and we took this rice soup, and basically it was the big plastic containers that we've all got here at home like this, and it was full of rice soup. And we went out in a Land Rover and some other vehicles with all this rice soup, masses of rice soup, and to go and feed the kids. And it was in a settlement, I suppose you would call it, that the government had built after the last great hurricane that went through there 20 years ago. I should remember, but I can't. Sorry. We remember pulling in. There was like a convoy of 3 vehicles, and we pulled in. And as we pulled in, all these kids and mothers and fathers and that all suddenly appeared with their plastic containers, and it was like. It just even thinking about it now, you see, it gets me going. I get all. And I said to Frida, who was one of the people there, the lady that took us from Hong Kong, I said to her, I can't do this. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. It was just. Anyhow, she said you got to do it. She said what you got to do is we'll stop the vehicle and you go round and you actually feed the kids and the people. You get in there and you with your jug and you dip in and you fill up their stuff. And, dear, it was. That was the time.
The seed was set.
That was the time. I knew I would go back again.
I think that's kind of, for me, with coming back from Africa to 2001, 20 years later, as you know, every year I try and do something or some charity event or challenge where I try and make a difference to whether it's a local charity or a national charity. That's instilled into me, and like it is for yourself, is something that we live in the Western world. We live in the land of luxury, where our homes are amazing. So everything we've got, technology.
Yeah.
We take the simplest of things for granted.
Absolutely.
It's not until you. I guess the closest thing I could say is when I go out camping 2 weeks up in Scotland, and you're living under a canvas. You come back to the luxuries that we've got: flush toilet, sanitary washing, proper shower, and you think, wow, this is, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to be back. But it's an amazing experience when you are in the remote, away from all the trappings, and you cherish the smallest of things. And I guess that kind of like highlights, like you said earlier, in terms of if you've never had it, you will never miss it.
No.
But food, shelter, and health are the three fundamental things. And I be part of their community.
I'm going to be going and living in their community. The thing about Philippines people are the most amazing, generous, happy, genuine people, and all they ask, it's the only thing they ask, is that you respect their culture and you respect their ways. And that is no price to ask, is it? That is no price to give. I mean, it's just, that's what we should all do anyway. And they are the most giving people. I mean, these people, the people who are suffering now, will give their food to their neighbour. You know, it's unbelievable. But what you said just now about that was, it's funny because I've said to Kirsty before, and she said to me, you know, Dad, I understand what you and Mum meant now. This is particularly dealing with the children. She said, I know what you meant now. I said, it's strange, isn't it? I said, because you're now doing to your children what we did to you, and how we brought you up. And it's a generation thing that you hope will carry on throughout our history. She's putting it in place with her children. And we hope that her children will do it with their children, and so on, so on, so on. But the world has changed so much, and yet the world hasn't changed at all.
No, that's good words.
That's it.
It's, well, I want to say you've got my admiration, Bud, and it's. I know it's going to be a trip of a lifetime. Well, it is going to be your life, so it's kind of. But you do have my blessing, begrudgingly. But as long as you promise me one thing, you will
still support Man United. Yes, of course.
As long as you promise me, you will keep in touch and not to forget the life you've left behind.
It's an absolute given, mate. It's an absolute given. It's not going to be a case of I'm going and that's all forgotten, because it's what has made me today able to go and do what I want to do tomorrow. And, you know, the friendships that I have, the special friendships that I have, will keep me going. In the days when, no, don't get me wrong, this is not going to be a walk in the park.
Oh, far
this
from
is
it.
not going to be all swings and bells and roundabouts and everything else. This is going to be hard. You know, I said to Kirsty, I was showing pictures of Kirsty, she said, Dad, she said, what's that big bucket over there on the video? And I said, that's how they had the shower. She said, what do you mean?
I shouldn't be laughing because it's so sad.
She said, no, it's not sad. It's not sad.
I know, it's how they're used to it. It's
that's
what
right.
It's just how they're.
That's right.
That's what they use.
She said, what do you mean? I said, well, they get a jug and they stand and they dip it in and they wash. That's their shower. It is what it is, and you adapt to how things are going to be in the future. But it's not going to be easy. I'm not expecting it to be easy at all. I'm expecting it to be hard. I'm expecting there to be a lot of laughs along the way, and there'll be a lot of tears, I'm sure, along the way. But all I want to do is to immerse myself in their culture, and if I can help build a fence, if I can help plant some food, if I can raise some pigs, if I can get used to the cockerels, that's all part of the idea. I'm 67 soon. I hope I've got another 30 years left in me to enjoy it and see the fruits of my labour, and hopefully see the joy of the people that I'm trying to help. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and think I'm going to make a huge difference, because I'm not. Because I'm going to be learning more than anybody else.
I think doing the radio station, I think, because that is global, that's a message that can go across the world within minutes, as you know.
Well, I'm very fortunate that I picked up on Kids and Radio. They contacted me and said, would I do my radio program for them Sunday hour, and it's gone very, very well. But I think once I am in the Philippines and I'm writing it and producing it, presenting it there, from a local point of view, and having a lot more local flavour to it. Yeah, as far as the radio station goes, I will be carrying on doing that every week, and I will only need the internet to upload the programme, not to make it. I can make it without the internet. And yeah, I mean, I set up this YouTube channel for as you know, you helped me, for vlogging or making video. I call it video diary is better for me, I think, rather than vlogging. And I think I changed the name 5 or 6 times until I found the one that I wanted, and I set up on Southern Leyte Life, because I'm going to go and live in Southern Leyte, and it's going to be my life while I'm there. So Southern Leyte Life. But it's going to be a video diary, daily, bi-daily, weekly, whatever, of my life, but more importantly their life as well, and the progress that we hope we can make. So do I leave it that I set it up when I go out there, or do I set it up here, and over the last 3 months and the next 2 months I'm going to be making memories, which is exactly what this is. This is one of the memories that we are making. We're making. You forgot all about the camera, didn't you? It's this is going to be one of the really special memories that we make over the next couple of months before I go in April, that I will take with me, and I hope that people will see it as a journey, not just from the airport to the Philippines and beyond, more of a journey from where we are now to the airport, you know, if you know what I mean. And it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast, and I've loved doing my video diary, and I will continue to love doing it. And today was very special because you know that I wanted to do this for a long time. But you can't script it. You can't come along and think, right, so what we're going to talk about? Let's decide what we're going to talk about, because that just never works. You know that. So it's been nice to have breakfast and have a good chit chat about things, and you know, I don't know what more I can say. Well, I could probably say a lot more about going, but it's a life-changing experience for me, and I hope, because it's a life-changing experience for me, that will sort of portray and give off something to when I finally see my friends in the Philippines, and I think they know that, like, I know that they know that I want to be there now to help them. You know, not that I've got any great I haven't got anything that I can say, I'm going to do this for you straight away and it's going to make things better. It's just help, and it's just purely help. Whatever they need.
It's a calling. You've got a calling.
I have got a calling, mate. You know, this is all to do with radio, God, you know, everything. I know I'm being led there, and I'm happily being led there, and that's what I'm going to do. And
you'll make your life as fruitful and as wonderful as it can be out there. And what makes it more sort of, you know, more special is you're coming away from the comfort of the Western world, of all the surroundings of, as we said earlier, just the luxuries, little small things we take for granted. After you showed me the photos, I woke up the next morning and I thought, just for 1 hour, try and imagine doing something without the trappings or the little things. Just something simple with a mobile phone, iPad and stuff. And power, electricity, clean my teeth, electric toothbrush, shaving, electric shaver. And to think, if you didn't have electricity, because they get so many power cuts out there, long-term power cuts as well, it changes everything of every single day. So every day will be an adventure for you.
Back on, isn't it?
It seems strangely, like, from being obviously close friend, we'll always be close friends, even in the next life. I've always said this, but to actually become like a spectator of you. I mean,
it's a role reversal.
It is.
Because I've been a spectator of your. I've been a spectator of you.
You've been part of my adventures and challenges for years.
I've been a spectator for your trials and adventures for as long as we've known each other, and participated in some of them as well, which has been absolutely amazing. But yeah, a bit of a role reversal, really, isn't it? But you'll come out there.
Oh yeah, I definitely will.
Come out
It'd be amazing to come
and you'll
out and
experience what it's like, because I won't put you into a hotel.
Well, no,
You'll be able to come and sleep on the floor.
Yeah,
like
I
me.
want canvas.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the end of
absolutely.
in a tent,
Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
fantastic. But wishing you, all I can say, bud, is total admiration, as you know, and you're dearly loved, and you always have been since we first met at Old Trafford, Man United, our second love of our lives after our partners and all the rest of it. It's like family and friends and stuff. But in terms of for me, it is hard to accept. So I won't say too much because obviously I'll get upset. But you're going to be dearly missed.
Oh, bless you.
And but I wish you all the very best.
Bless you, bud.
Merry Christmas. Ah,
And you, bud. And you.
let's get the kettle on.
Let's get the kettle on.
Coffee time.
Yeah.